Good morning, children. How are you all? Hope everyone are doing fine. So in our previous class, we studied about the topic reaction of metals and non-metals with air, right? So in today's class, let us see how metals and non-metals react with water. Okay. If we take some metals and allow it to react with water, again the same thing what we observed in case of metals and non-metals when it react with air, right? Same thing happens here also. Some will react very vigorously with water. Some need external source, that is heat, when they need to react with water. So example here I have taken sodium and potassium. You can see it in two pictures. In the first picture, a sodium reacts with water. So what's happening is this sodium vigorously react with cold water and give out a fire. Same thing a potassium also. When it is allowed to react with water, especially the cold water, it gives out a fire and its reaction is very vigorous. Okay. In this slide, I am taken examples for metals reacting with water. So what happens when we allow metals to react with cold or hot water? Okay, here I'm mentioning whether it is a cold water or hot water. What happens to metals when it is reacting with this kind of water? It gives out metal hydroxide and liberation of hydrogen gas. By the way, how we are getting to know that hydrogen gas is being released? So it's just by a pop sound. It gives a pop sound when the reaction is done. By this we can know that hydrogen gas has been released, right? Again, when we allow metal to react with steam, it is like a gas formation, right? So steam in the sense it is a gas form of water. So what happens when metal react with steam? It gives out metal oxide and liberation of hydrogen gas. Okay, so here you can see few examples. When sodium, it is in a solid form. When it is allowed to react with water, what happens? It gives out sodium hydroxide, which is in aqueous solution, okay, and liberation of hydrogen gas. Same way, when magnesium is allowed to react with water, it gives out magnesium hydroxide and liberation of hydrogen gas. Okay, and the third example, when we allow iron to react with water, so here water in the sense it is in a steam formation, okay, gas. So what happens? So it gives out iron 2 3 oxide. You remember this I have used in the topic metals reacting with water as well. So it is iron 2 and 3 oxide. The scientific name is ferrous ferric oxide. Okay. So you know why it is, what is the reason that we call iron 2 and 3 oxide. If you don't get it, just go through the previous video and let me know what exactly this iron 2 and 3 oxide means. Okay. And this iron, when we are allowing it to react with the steam, that should be in a red hot condition. That means here external source heat has been applied and it is allowed to react with the steam, which is in a like where liquid is in a gas form, and it gives out iron 2 3 oxide and hydrogen gas is liberated. Okay. Here I have taken few examples of metals reacting with water along with the chemical equation and experimentation. So here experimentation I have shown in a GIF form. So you can see this clip of experimentation to follow the concept. So once the school reopens, we'll perform these particular experiments in lab so that the concept will be clear. For right now, you understand by seeing the reaction with this video clip. Okay. And firstly, I'll take a sodium and potassium as I showed you in a previous slide how sodium and potassium is reacting with water. Okay, I don't want to repeat it again in the slide, so just recall that experiment. So what happens when you put a piece of potassium or sodium into water? It reacts vigorously and catches fire. Right? Same thing happens when we allow this sodium and potassium to react with air as well. So that is the reason, specially we preserve this in a kerosene. Right? So that it doesn't allow the sodium and potassium to react with water or air which is present. Right? So considering that as an example, let's take a next example, that is calcium. So what happens to calcium when it is reacting with water? This calcium will will be very less violent. So this doesn't cause any danger, and it also not catch any sort of fire. Okay, but it reacts with water. Well, next we will see next example in the next slide. So here next example I've taken is magnesium. When we allow magnesium to react with cold water, so what happens? There won't be any sort of reaction. Now what we will do, there is another option. We will allow magnesium to react with hot water. So what happens when it is reacting with hot water with a high temperature? This magnesium reacts with hot water to form magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gas is liberated. Now you can see the difference. So magnesium is not reacting with the cold water, but it is reacting with hot water. That means there is an external force, that is heat has been given to water to raise the temperature. Then magnesium is allowed to react with hot water. Then it gives magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gases liberated. It also starts floating. So why this floating occurs? This is due to bubbles of hydrogen gas when it goes and sticks on its surface. Okay, so what happens when you allow magnesium to react with hot water? It forms a bubbles. Okay, it forms bubbles of hydrogen gas, and these gas go and sit on the magnesium metal. So that is why it starts floating on the surface, right? So this is a reaction of magnesium with hot water. Why we are taking hot water as option? Because it doesn't react with cold water. Okay. Next example that I have taken is aluminium metal. So I am allowing aluminium metal to react with cold water. Consider the temperature of this water might be around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius. Okay, what happens? Aluminium doesn't react with this cold water. Okay, so what I have other option, I'll allow aluminium metal to react with the water, that is hot water with the high temperature approx 52 to 60 degrees Celsius. What happens then? Even then, the aluminium doesn't react with hot water as well. Again, there is a last option left. I'll allow aluminium to react with the steam. Okay, so for that, here is an experimental setup for aluminium reacting with the steam. So here is an experiment. You can see this. This is a very important part of your syllabus. Okay, so here you can see we have taken a test tube with a Bunsen burner for heating purpose, and we have taken glass wool soaked in water. I'll tell what is the function of all this. And there is a stand here, and the test tube has been closed with the cork, and this in turn connected with the delivery tube. Okay, and that is connected with the test tube uh, along with the water in a large beaker, and this is supported by a stand. Okay, so this is the experimental setup for aluminium reacting with the steam, right? Okay, so what happens in this experiment? Let us see. So we are allowing aluminium to react with steam. So water is taken in a steam form, right? So I have showed you people glass wool is soaked in a water. You can see in the left side of your picture. So that what is the function of this glass wool is, so and what is the function of this is, it traps water, it takes heat directly, and it is easy to convert into water. That is why we have taken glass wool. And aluminium reacts with steam to form the metal oxide and hydrogen, right? And this is how metals react with steam. For that, I've taken only the example of aluminium. Okay. So the last example I've taken here is gold. When we allow gold to react with cold water, it doesn't show any sort of reaction. And again, when we allow gold to react with hot water, again the same reaction, it doesn't show any sort of reaction. And the last option that left with us is we are allowing gold to react with the steam again. And again, it fails to react with steam as well. That means gold is unreactive metal. It doesn't react with any anything like cold water or hot water or steam. So every metal behaves differently with water. Okay. So I hope everyone have followed today's concept. So let us discuss more about this concept in the live session. See you all children.